Dr. Stone ceases to amaze me with how creative its storytelling is and all the new characters we bring in and how vital they are to the entire story. Very good. Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your host, Shinry. Here at the Everything Anime Podcast, we talk about everything from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and whatever relevant topics we're talking about. I haven't really discussed movies much outside of like The Little Mermaid and Fast X, but there have been some movies I like, so we will get into movies at some point. I'll probably find a friend to do it with. But today's video is going to be on Dr. Stone chapters. I forgot the chapter numbers, I have to look that up. But I don't think it was too many, so I'll put it in the title. So, where we last left off is Senku, Ryusei, and Chrome were up in the hot air balloon, and they were using this to get like a better view of where the oil field could be. Because the landscape has changed due to the volcano erupting like 10 times over the years, because we know when a volcano erupts, magma, when it touches water, creates more earth, it changes things, it destroys things. So they're not sure where oil would exist in this current time and age. I think I called it gold, black gold. That's what they refer to it as, black gold, because oil is if you control oil, you control the world. So they're happily flying through the air, and Chrome is just gushing about how excited he is to be flying for the first time. And Senku's like, oh, this is no big deal. Because, you know, Senku's from a time where, like, they rode in airplanes and, you know, flying isn't new to them. It is kind of still new. Like, say you're a newborn baby or, like, a kid you never flew before. It is that. Just like when I skydived for the first time. I think I posted in one of my previous videos. It's definitely a video on the channel. But when I went skydiving for the first time, it was amazing to be like in the air like a bird. Like go through a cloud was crazy. And Ryusei, even though he's rich and he's flown on private jets his entire life, he's like, this is fun because this is my first time also on a hot air balloon. So this is the first experience for him too. So even though he's been in the air all his life, he's still excited. He still thinks it's fun because it's his first time on a hot air balloon. Really love that. We then get a gag banter between Ryusei and Chrome. They're arguing about who's the best adventurer, because we know, like, Chrome, even though he's only lived on land, like, he loves to explore. Like, that's Chrome's whole thing, is, like, using his knowledge, being in the field, basically. Whereas Senku's, like, being in a lab. Chrome's whole thing is, like, being out in the field and finding things. And then we are Ryusei, we know he's an adventurer too, because his entire life he spent it on the seas after he was in middle school. Like, he was a captain of all these ships. So I thought it was real funny. It's just a really random gag banter, but very fun. But their trip is not going to be easy sailing, as there's this giant storm cloud heading towards them. And the way it looks is like a dragon. Like, the way this author draws these threats, these scenes, I don't think the anime is gonna do it. Cause like the whole I gushed about it when like Tsukasa found that phone and like it zooms in on his face, like his eyes go crazy. I saw the anime version and it doesn't have that intensity, so I'm sure the anime won't have the intensity of this cloud the way it's drawn, but it looks amazing. I'll make sure I show that panel too. And what's worse is their situation is even more dire because there is a hole in the top of their air balloon. So at one point, like, these flock of birds, I think in the first panel, like, they just are like flying, and that's what Chrome was gushing about. Like, oh, we're filled with birds. And they assume one of the birds might have poked a hole in the hot air balloon because it is just, you know, like a sheet cover. And so they're like, okay, we can't accelerate. Like, we can't get above we can't pump more air into the hot air balloon because it has nowhere to go. And if we do, it only has one shot, and we can't decelerate. We can't go down, because if we try to go down, we're going to lose like complete control and like crash into the ground. And so instead of like panicking, Ryusei, Chrome, and Senku are like all up to the challenge. Like, they think of this like an anime fight. Like, the way their faces are drawn, the way they look so determined, it really gives me like a Shonen Jump battle manga. Like, the way that they're so pumped, like, okay, we got to figure this all out. So Ryusei's trying to do his thing as a navigator, Senku's trying to do his thing as a scientist, and then Chrome's trying to do his thing as an adventurer. And Chrome's instincts kick in as he realizes, like, there's no chance to escape, there's no chance to run away. He compares us to like running into a bear in the middle of the woods, or like any kind of animal, and you can try to run, but if they catch you, you're dead. You're going to show them you're afraid, or you can try to stand up to them, and even if you lose, you at least like gave it a shot. So Chrome's like, well, fuck it. If we can't risk going up and we can't risk going down, then all we can do is go forward. We got to charge right through the storm and hope we make it. Because, like I said, if they try to decelerate, they're going to crash. It's going to lose control. And they do come up with a way to go up. But they're like, if we can go up, it's only one shot. And so their ultimate plan is to get the hot air balloon to elevate above the storm just before it hits them. It reminds me of something in Dune 2 where like they were also going through a storm and he's like, oh, we just have to go through it and get to the top. Like, imagine like a tornado's coming at you and like you're on a plane. Like, I think if you do get above like the storm, you would be safely over it. So that's exactly what their plan is. They're like, we'll get to the top and we'll pop out on the other side unscathed. So Dr. Stone, knowing there's holes on top of the balloon, but they still got a flame, he like, all right, we need one giant burst of fire to get us above this. So he throws some nitrous acid. I think it is the last of his because of something that happens later. So it's the last of his nitrous acid, which is how we can bring people back, the miracle fluid. Even though losing this means we'll lose access to bring people back, they're like, we don't have a choice. So he throws it into the fire and it creates this giant explosion and blasts them above the storm. And the way it's drawn is like they're coming out of the head of the dragon, like the dragon's mouth. It's a storm cloud, but the dragon's mouth is going to like devour them, and they just shoot up through its head. Really, really creatively drawn. Like, I really hope the anime does it justice, but because the way I saw Tsukasa's face in the anime, I'm like, I don't think it's gonna do it. I don't think it's gonna do the justice that it needs. But it's thanks to their teamwork that I make it back to Ishigami Village in one piece. Even putting aside like Chrome and Reisei's feud, they're like, you're a great adventurer, great, just like Magma. And who was Magma arguing with? I think it was Senku. Like, how these characters all banter. It was very, very cute, very, very nice. I loved it. And Senku is about to fall off in the background while they're shaking hands. I thought it was really funny. Senku's like, hey, I'm glad you guys are friends, but can you help me? Because like when they blasted up, where it's like obviously the wind blew everybody back, but Chrome and Reisei held the ground where Senku got blown backwards. So that was kind of funny, just seeing Senku hanging in the back. I love that. After landing and assessing the information, Senku assumes it could take 1 or 2 years to find oil. Like, yes, they have better view, but they still don't know where oil could be. Like, because it's like it's a giant island, so they're gonna make a map slowly over time. And they have like a basic point of view, like things they did discover, but they're drawing out this map by hand, and they're like, okay, we'll use the hot air balloon, we'll go up every now and then, and we'll pinpoint, hey, there's a goat field here, hey, there's crops here, hey, there's this here, this here. Very cool. This is where the Miracle Cave was, this is where Ishigami Village is, this is where the Kingdom Stone was, stuff like that. So very cool, but like it could take time to like fully detail this map of where we are. And so as time goes by and the ability to see from the air, it allows them to find like timber trees. We go through like a monologue. Kawaku uses her, what do they call it, super eyes, ultra eyes, to like find these timber trees for like strong labor, and then new animals for food using Yukio's hearing, because when Yukio goes in the air, he can like listen for animals. Very cool stuff. And after some time, they build a small portion of their map. I think this is what I was talking about. It looks really cool. I'm going through my notes, but I'm also going by memory. So that was really cool. Also, they answer a question I had about Ishigami Village after 3,700 years. The reason why the village is small, because I was like, if the world did repopulate, like, or if the world was supposed to grow, and these people were like, where are the other people? And I think we did learn this before. Like, some people died because they were cold, they froze to death, or they were like, whenever Dr. Stone made the stove, they were talking about like how people died because like they ran out of food, or they were freezing to death, or just like they didn't have enough food to survive. And so Kawaku, or someone says it's like, thanks to Senku's inventions, like we've been able to survive longer, we've been able to keep everybody, we've been able to be fed. Like Senku's given them like stove for heat, stove to cook food, cotton candy, ramen, cola. Like he's given them things that we had in modern day that they would not have basically in the Stone Age, or the new Stone Age. So can you guess what we're gonna do next? And I don't know why I never realized this. We're gonna revive a chef. Well, no, before that, we're going to start a farm. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, so we're going to start a farm. So having money is great, and having oil is even better. But the other way to make money in in this day and age and time is to, like, have farmland, like cows, goats, making your own food. Because, like, one of the necessities that we also need aside from oil and money is food. So if you want to be really rich, create your own food supply. That's another way to get rich. So they're going to become farmers. And the first thing that they need to, the first thing that we're going to start farming is bread, which I love bread so much. Like, when I was reading that part of the chapter, he said we're going to make bread. I was like, my tongue was salivating. I was like, oh, I love bread. I need more bread. And so as I begin to prep the fields to grow for wheat, we see Taiju, like, hilariously hard at work. Like, Taiju is like the hard worker. Like, he might not be as strong as Magma, but like, or as Nikki, but like, when he puts his mind to something, he works really, really hard. And that's what we love Taiju for. And after everyone's hard work, we finally acquired a wheat field. And if you remember Dr. Stone, we previously created a stove, so I already knew baked bread was coming. Like, I knew that was going to be like the next thing we'd do is, like, obviously we're going to bake the bread. We have a stove. I remember that from memory. But their first hilarious attempt gives them something like burnt toast, like really burned, and they're all looking at it. There's no way we're going to survive with this for 2 years. And this is where we decide we're going to revive a gourmet chef. And this is the part that I got ahead of myself from. So yes, they're going to revive a chef that can cook for them, because I was like, obviously, like, they have fish, they have rice, they have ramen, they have Coke, but like, they're probably gonna get tired of eating that at some point. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, from them, with Senku basically reviving everything, or restarting civilization, of course they would acquire a chef or someone that could make food for them. So I love that. However, I remember they need nitrous acid to revive somebody, and if Senku destroyed all the nitrous acid, how would they do that? Well, yeah, because they did that to accelerate the hot air balloon up to the top of the cloud. However, Ryusei believes that someone here still is hoarding a small vial of revival fluid to bring back even just one person. And I was curious about who that character would be. I was like, who would be hoarding a vial of revival fluid? Would it be Gen? Would it be Magma for some reason? Because, he wanted to take over Shikasa's Stone Army, so maybe he had one. Gen could have been up to like another mentalist trick. I did not expect it to be the reporter. That was pretty good. So Ryusei suspects the reporter would keep somebody alive, keep a vial of nitrous acid or miracle fluid for herself, because she wants to, like, interview somebody to get valuable information that would help her survive. That would help her in this new world be revived. Like, obviously she's gonna bring back somebody important so she can interview them, get information. So that was pretty clever. That's another clever piece of writing that I like that this author did. And it turns out she does have a piece of revival fluid, and she's going to give it, and the person we're going to give that to revive is Ryusei's butler, who was a sous chef. And they debate if she's a boy or a girl, but obviously she looks like a girl, in my opinion. I mean, in the anime it could be different. But this is also the first character they revived that's fully clothed. I thought that was kind of funny. I don't know why, but I guess because, like, she's all proper talking. She's all like, a butler should always be like, she has a catchphrase. They all have catchphrases, like Senku's is 10 billion%, Chrome's is bad. She has a catchphrase too. I'm just forgetting what it is. But whatever she says, she's like, a butler should always be like gentleman-like or lady-like or something like that. And hilariously, when they take her to see the baked bread, she's like really offended. She's like, who the fuck made this? This is disgusting, and it's unfit for my Ryusei, because she was his butler. Found it really hilarious. But with the help of her and all of Senku's group and Senku's inventions, we've crafted the perfect bread, and we've also obtained a chef. So that's the end of that's where I stopped off. I love this new character, the sous chef. She is great, or he is great, whoever they are. And I love just the fact that, like, once again, with the oil thing, I did not realize, like, of course, they would need oil at some point, which makes sense. I think I knew these things, I just didn't know when they would happen. Then obtaining money was great. When they obtained money, that was hilariously good, because Ryusei, and then, like, Yuzu creating her own, like, clothing line, and Kaseki in the suit and shit like that. And then we went over to Tsukasa's sister selling cotton candy, and Sukiya with her ramen stand. There's been some great gags, and especially with the reporter, who was the one that had the miracle fluid for herself enough to bring back one person, and her motivation being like, I want to interview somebody. Really fucking great, really awesome. And then finally, like I said, the sous chef reveal, like, of course, you know, they at some point would need someone that can make food for them, because like I've just been assuming they were just gonna survive off of ramen for a while until like we got back to civilization. But Dr. Stone is a short anime / manga, so I should have known that you know, we would have to pick it up at some point. Oh, I mean, it already does move really fast in a good way. Speaking of, I've already finished Demon Slayer, so we're gonna hop into some videos talking about that next. But yeah, that's all for this video. I've actually read a little bit further ahead in Dr. Stone from here, but this is where I ended off my notes, so I'm gonna end the video here. I'll see you guys in the next Dr. Stone video, or Demon Slayer, whichever one comes out next. Talk to you guys soon. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys would be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these, but I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne: Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite, If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red Will Reign Over Your House, Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.